Our scripture focus today is actually Matthew 8, 28 to 34. But this is a great example of how it is so often important to read the text either before and sometimes after your chosen passage in order to get a better understanding for it. The text that we will focus on is about Jesus' encounter with the two demon-possessed men living in an area set apart for the tombs, burial spots for the dead, in the community of Gennesaret, in the region called the Gadarenes. It's on the other side of the Sea of Galilee. Now, as I read, I want you to listen for every mention of death and burial and demon possession that you hear in the whole reading. And you'll have a better appreciation for how the incident of our attention today is really linked to other incidents that preceded. Okay? Are you ready? Let's go. I'm reading Matthew 8, verses 14 to 34 from the New International Version. When Jesus came into Peter's house, he saw Peter's mother-in-law lying in bed, dying of a fever. He touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she got up and began to wait on him. When evening came, many who were demon-possessed were brought to him, and he drove out the spirits with the word, and he healed all the sick. It was to fulfill what was spoken through the prophet Isaiah. He took up our infirmities and bore our diseases. The next section is called the cost of following Jesus. When Jesus saw the crowd around him, he gave orders to cross over to the other side of the lake. Then a teacher of the law came to him and said, "Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go." Jesus replied, "Foxes have dens and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." And another disciple said to him, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." But Jesus told him, "Follow me, and let the dead bury the dead." Then he got into a boat, and his disciples followed him. Suddenly, a furious storm came up on the lake, so that the waves swept over the boat. But Jesus was sleeping, and the disciples went and woke him up, saying, "Lord, save us. We're going to drown. We're all going to die." And he replied, "You have little faith. Why are you so afraid?" And then he got up, and he rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. The men were amazed and asked, "What kind of man is this? Even the winds and the waves obey him." When he arrived at the other side in the region of the Gadarenes, two demon-possessed men coming from the tombs met him. They were so violent that no one could pass that way. "What do you want with us, Son of God?" they shouted. "Have you come here to torture us before the appointed time?" Some distance from them, a large herd of pigs was feeding. The demons begged Jesus, "If you drive us out, send us into that herd of pigs." He said to them, "Go." So they came out and went into the pigs, and the whole herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and died in the water. Those tending the pigs ran off, went into town, and reported all of this, including what had happened to the two demon-possessed men. Then the whole town went out to meet Jesus, and when they saw him, they pleaded with him to leave their region.